All right, I'm with Senator Paul Bussman. It's week number 5 for the Alabama legislative sessions. Senator, before we get to Montgomery, let's talk about Cullman today. We had Governor Ivey visit Topre.
Big day.
My understanding is you had a little something to do with getting her here. Is that true?
Well, I would say this. When we try to build relationships, when we try to do things with people, that helps get the governor here. It's important that she's here. Topre has businesses in multiple states. We are the only state that's had a governor show up to one of their events, and to the Japanese people, that's a very important thing. For they respect authority, and it's a big deal when she shows up, and she did today, and it was a great event.
And she had a great set of remarks. I mean, she was spot on, and I think everybody appreciated her coming. That's for sure.
Well, and they've been a tremendous benefit to this community. I mean, the draw that they have, or the status that they have in this community, encourages other industries to come, and it's very helpful in getting other industries here too as well.
Well, what I got out of the presentation was they plan to keep expanding here and everywhere. It's not like they're going backwards in any kind of way.
No, we're the first company from Topre that was set up outside of Japan, and now they've got facilities in China and Mexico and many other places. But Cullman and Cullman County was the first Topre outside of the country of Japan. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. Now, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about politics. While we're recording this, we're about 5 hours away from the end of qualifying. At this moment, you don't have any challengers. You might run unopposed.
Well, we would like that, but like I said, it's something I don't worry about. I don't have any control over it. That's why we have elections. It's almost our term limit type procedures in our country. And every 4 years we have to run again. If we're doing a good job, hopefully we'll be reelected. If we're not, then other people have an opportunity to come and try it.
Well, we'll know by the time people watch this.
Yes.
So, down to Montgomery, the first 4 weeks, I think I'm going to put words in your mouth. It was kind of euphoric down there. You guys were really rolling. Week 5 is maybe something a little closer to normal. Tell us what's happened.
We're getting back to a little bit back to normal. The first couple of weeks we were passing agency bills, which really didn't have a whole lot of meat to them. Most of it was correcting issues that they had in their departments, and that's very simple to do. There's not a whole lot of controversy in those things. But now we're starting to get closer to the budgets. We're starting to get closer to issues that have controversy. We're having to be very careful right now because of this euphoric attitude. We've got to be very careful that a bill doesn't slide in there that will have long-term effects on the state of Alabama, and none of us saw it coming. So we are very aware right now. We've got a couple of senators that work with me, and we pay pretty close attention to that special order calendar. And we each pick one and try to make sure that we're in good shape. But right now it's a dangerous time when everybody's happy for somebody just to put in a bill and nobody pay attention, and all of a sudden you've got a bill that's not very good for the state.
It's really a weeding and sifting process.
Yeah, absolutely.
In this part of the session, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you've got to be very careful that you don't let something pass because everybody's getting along. You don't just assume everything's good. And sometimes there'll be a bad bill there, and we saw one this week that was a tremendously bad bill for Alabama, and Senator Sanford was the one that caught it, and I'm glad he caught it, and we stopped that for sure.
That's great. Well, what can we talk about beyond that? There was an interesting bill that probably we wouldn't think of, but it has to do with voyeurism and upskirting, which I think is the popular term. Well, tell us about that.
Well, a lot of times we don't know what the laws are until somebody is in the law and has a personal experience with the law. We found out that there's very little that the state or the prosecution can do with somebody that comes in and takes their camera and takes a snapshot under a girl's skirt, or takes a picture of somebody's private parts without them knowing it. There just wasn't anything there really that you could do to prosecute. And so now we fixed that. Senator Chambliss in Prattville brought the bill forward because he had 6 or 7 victims down in Prattville. It made perfect sense that we have to make that a felony. If you're going to go in, you're going to do that, you're going to put that on the internet, you're going to have some serious complications for the victims of those things, and it needed to be done, and I'm glad we got that done.
And I assume you expect little resistance in the House.
Oh, I don't expect that one will go right through. I mean, it's almost one of those things that you look at and you say, we don't have a law for that already, and we don't. And so now we're going to, and the prosecution can take those people that are offenders and they can prosecute them in a felony type charge.
Makes sense. What else is important?
Well, budgets are coming. House starts working on the education budget next week. We're starting to see the general fund starting to move through the Senate in committees. So that's our big thing. That's what we've got to do every year. And right now we've got a little extra money. And so my concern is that we're prioritizing that money. We're putting that money in exactly where we need to spend it, as opposed to just continuing to spend it like we did before. As we get more money, we've got to prioritize that money. And so that's what I'll be looking to do.
Makes sense. Well, thanks for talking to me. Week 5 is in the books. We'll be back next week for number 6. How about that?
That sounds good. Good to see you.
Senator, thank you.